Well, tonight there are calls for accountability, transparency, and change when it comes to USF housing, and questions as to whether this double homicide could have been prevented. Zamil's family says he complained about concerning behavior from his roommate, but nothing was done. Let's bring in our Fox 13's Genevieve Curtis explaining more on how students are petitioning both the apartment complex, Genevieve, and USF to really reevaluate their housing safety after this.
Yeah, absolutely, Allie. I mean, really the central questions here are, could this tragedy have been prevented, and how did a brilliant PhD student end up with a roommate with a violent criminal history who was no longer a USF student? Those questions central to the families and to students now that are petitioning the school and asking for accountability and answers.
They either don't conduct criminal background checks or they're inefficient.
USF student Abraham Al-Badawi is among those on campus calling for action at the apartment complex where Zamil Limon became roommates with his alleged killer, Hisham Abu Gharbi. The victim's family also requested that the university investigate Avalon Heights as a registered off-campus housing facility and investigate why a roommate was assigned without proper background checks. Abu Gharbi has not been a USF student for years and had charges for domestic violence and battery.
We came to know that both Jamil's and his roommate, another Indian roommate, filed complaints against him. Just 15 days ago, the incident happened. He has some anger issue and severe anger issues.
Zamil's brother says strong action was not taken after the complaints were made.
They don't seem to have a plan for emergencies where roommates need to separate.
The student petition calls for a third-party review of how roommate concerns are handled, the creation of an emergency transfer policy for residents who have safety concerns with roommates, and it calls on USF to review how off-campus housing options are presented to students and set a minimum safety standard for those options. On Avalon Heights' website, you can see it clearly markets itself as USF Student Apartments and says our fully furnished USF apartments feature private bedroom and bathroom floor plans. On the university's own website under housing, you can see multiple listings for shared housing in units at Avalon Heights.
And once you see something on the website, it's assumed to be credible. It's just an off-campus apartment. All right.
In a statement, the university told me, quote, Avalon Heights is a privately owned and operated off-campus housing facility and not managed by the university. We fully support efforts to examine all factors involved, including housing conditions and safety measures that are in place. We are also reviewing how off-campus housing resources are presented to our students to provide clarity and transparency and to identify any opportunities to strengthen communication around safety considerations. I also asked Avalon Heights half a dozen questions. A spokesperson sent a statement saying in part they are deeply saddened by the tragic loss of one of their residents, saying they are fully committed to supporting law enforcement in any way, but say, quote, out of respect for those involved and due to the ongoing and active investigation, we are unable to provide further information at this time.
And also on its website, Avalon Heights says it has a roommate matching program. It is still unclear if that was used or how the two were connected to be roommates at that apartment complex. The petition, meanwhile, has about 100 signatures from students and continuing to grow as the families continue to demand transparency and answers here. Reporting in Tampa, Genevieve Curtis, Fox 13 News.